Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. For those of you who saw my last video, first off, thank you very much for watching, and to all my new subscribers and people who commented, thank you. You didn't have to do that, but always encouraged. That was very nice. But anyway, for those of you who did see my last video, sorry that this one is the period was so long. I did try and make one last week, but I kept on messing up. Well, I didn't keep on messing up. It wouldn't go through, it wouldn't render and whatever. And then I had a whole bunch of stuff to do, so I was just like, screw it. So today I had some time, so hopefully this will go through. So yeah. This one's kind of different. This is one of my favorite type of videos to watch for collectors. It is a top 20 list, and specifically we're going to look at my top 20 favorite horror movies in my collection. I know that the horror community, or the horror collectors, are like the biggest subcategory of collectors on the YouTube community, so hopefully people will enjoy this. My interest is really diverse, so if your favorite movie isn't on here, or if I say something against your favorite genre or movie, sorry, you know, hey, we're all people. But my first, my first pick here isn't on my top 20 list, it's an honorable mention, mostly because a lot of people count it as a horror movie, and there's other people who say, no, that's not horror. Personally, because I like a lot of exploitation, like 70s exploitation, sometimes the lines get blurred, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, horror and exploitation. But some of them, you know, it's just like, just exploitation. You're like, I don't know where the horror is in that. But jumping right into it, that is Cannibal Holocaust. Yeah, I know a lot of people are probably saying this is definitely a horror movie, and then others are agreeing with me. But Cannibal Holocaust. Heard about it for a very long time, since I was like, I don't know, 12 or whatnot. I would always listen to the theme song, even though I didn't watch the movie, but yeah. So I finally picked it up because I heard of how disturbing it was. I know people just watch this for shock value. I was kind of hoping for, you know, something more, maybe a little, you know, message on society, and yeah, you definitely find it here. That's probably the most disturbing part about this film is, you know, the message the director was trying to convey there. He did it in a very brutal manner, but, you know, I understand what he was going for. I know there's a lot of mixed opinions on this, and people who watch it just for shock value and go, that was stupid, or, oh my god, it's disgusting, how can people see that? But, you know what? Hey man, I rented around my house because of, you know, how annoyed you know, if you've seen it, you know, the, kind of twist, not really a twist, but, you know, about the documentarians and whatnot, you know, how angry that made me, but yeah, good movie. I really liked it. Good acting. Good for what it was, you know. Anyway, so now we're going to go into my top 20 list. And number one, very unusual, but you can't really see it. But I've always been a big fan of the Civil War. I know it sounds weird, but I really like the Confederate side. Not, you know, slavery, whatever. I'm not racist, whatever. But I always liked collecting the whole memorabilia from that and whatnot. So when I saw that there was a Civil War themed horror movie, I had to pick it up, especially with Robert Englund on the cover, and that is 2001 Maniacs. It is actually a remake of 2000 Maniacs, which was made in the 60s. That was a Herschel Gordon Lewis movie. Actually a really interesting storyline. I'm not going to give it away because if I do, then, you know, it gives away the movie. But, you know, check it out. It's definitely cheesy, raunchy, but it's aware of the fact that it's cheesy and raunchy and kind of pokes fun at the new type of horror movies. Definitely a fun time. Watch it with your friends, not your parents. Definitely not your parents. Number 19 on the list is a movie that I've seen a lot on top 20 horror lists. It's relatively new, I think 2009. Yeah. Or 2010? 2009. I don't know, I think most people have this on their lists. It's usually like 20 or 19. Because it's new, but it was really good, and, you know, obviously you're a horror fan. You know, it's kind of rare these days, but that is Dead Snow. I'm not going to go too much into this because most people have seen this, but action-packed zombie romp here. Good movie to watch with your friends as well. Has some humor, like 2001 Maniacs. Number 18, another zombie film, but much more slow than Dead Snow, that rhymed, by a long shot. A lot of opinions on this movie are mixed. After I bought it, I looked up some reviews on it because it was kind of a blind buy. I really like the distributor, Blue Underground. So I usually just pick up movies even if I don't even know what they're about. And a lot of people said they didn't like this because they thought it was too slow. Nothing really happened. Whatever. I really don't care. I liked it a lot. And that is Dead and Buried. Definitely a surprising movie for me here. That's the thing too, is all the movies on this list, including Cannibal Holocaust, movies that make it to my favorites in general are ones that surprise me. If they're a lot better than what I thought, or weren't what I expecting, not so much as the content, but just like, wow, I didn't expect that to be in this movie. They make it to the list. So, Dead and Buried. If you haven't seen this, definitely check it out. It is kind of slow, so if you like slower horror movies that make you think, it's definitely a thinking type movie. Definitely creepy, eerie, atmospheric, low budget, but done really well. Good acting and whatnot. Robert Englund's in this for a little bit. So there you go. Has that whole like New England coast sort of deal, if you know what I'm talking about. Classic zombie too. Not the whole infection zombies, but like the possession zombie, where they're kind of like ghosts because they come back from the dead, but anyways, you'll see it. Recommend it. Number 17. Side note here, I'm not a very big fan of slashers or Dario Argento. I know it's kind of hearsay because they're the two biggest things that people like when they like horror movies, but just not, never my forte. And I saw Suspiria was the first Dario Argento movie I saw. While it was good, it wasn't like, I didn't think it was anything spectacular. I thought it was a good, like, adventure type of deal, but I don't know, it just didn't like wow me. But when I saw number 17, Deep Red, it did. Deep Red, slasher and Dario Argento movie. Another really atmospheric one. Takes place a lot of it takes place at night. If you haven't seen it, so you have that like Rome nightlife feel. I don't know what's up with this cover. I know there's like 4 covers of this. There's like the Blue Underground one, and then 3 different ones that were released by Anchor Bay. I have the Anchor Bay release one. This is kind of like plain, but whatever. It was a really good release, and I got it for free. So yeah, most people have seen this. So I'm not going to go into it as well. Basically, this piano teacher witnesses the murder of this psychic woman who knew she was going to die, and he has to find out who killed her, and there's just like a lot of different things thrown into it. Some of it is a little bit unbelievable at times, with the whole part about, if you've seen it, the woman who lives in the country that he goes to contact, and he just like walks in her house. I'm like, I don't know if that's what they do in Rome in 1970s, honey, but that's not what we do here. Good soundtrack, like most giallos. Goblin? Yeah, Goblin does it. There we go. Number 16, kind of another obscure one on here, but I really liked it. A lot of, I don't want to say more of a drama, because it was definitely, a horror thriller movie, but definitely some dramatic elements in it, and that is The Orphanage, presented by Guillermo del Toro. I know a lot of people are probably attracted to that. This was definitely not what I was expecting at all. It's basically, if you haven't seen it, about a woman who grew up in an orphanage, and she kind of has that whole, caring for those who grew up the way she did instilled in her, so she ends up adopting a son, her and her husband, and she goes back to the orphanage where she grew up, and she tries to open a school there, but while they're staying there, her son starts, like, getting these, like, little imaginary friends, one of whom, like Thomas, starts becoming a problem because he starts playing games with him, which is kind of like a clue game, and eventually her son goes missing, and she has to play the clue game to find him. So there you go. Definitely a tearjerker there. And no spoilers, but definitely really good. Not even just a good horror movie, just a really good movie. Especially if you have children. Number 15? 14, 13, 12, 11. Yep, number 15, This is sort of like Cannibal Holocaust in that it's like exploitation or an homage to an exploitation film. But, you know, I think so many people have classified this as horror that it's definitely a horror movie, especially with the first one. And that is Devil's Rejects, another movie you see on top 20, top 10 lists. This is the 3-disc Rob Zombie collection thingamajiggy. Has House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil Rejects, and the 30 Minutes of Hell documentary for Devil's Rejects. Definitely a good modern day exploitation, like I said. I really like the sheriff in this, William Forsythe. I think he did a really good job. I definitely liked him better than the 3 family members. I know it's bad to say, but you know what? Hey. And there we go. Sid Haig spelled my name wrong. I don't know if anybody could see that, but oh, that's what it looks like on the other inside too. So it's pretty cool looking. There's the little sheriff. Love him. He's my bitch. Number 14. Yeah, I felt kind of guilty putting this on my list because it is kind of obscure and I know a lot of people don't like it. It's very, like, underground-y because Blue Underground released it, but, yeah, whatever. And when I bought this movie, the guy who I was buying it from was like, oh, this is really cheesy, but if you like George Romero, you'll like it. And I was like, screw that, motherfucker. And that is The Crazies. I was mostly thinking that not because I didn't like George Romero, by the way, but because, you know, obviously George Romero he's like my hero. But, you know, it's from the 1970s, and I know a lot of these movies are made on low budget, and they may seem cheesy, but this was, like, 70s movies, cheesy 70s movies, I think are done better than cheesy 80s movies, just because of the effects, you know, they didn't try to, I don't know how to explain it, but you kind of know what I mean. They tried to, like, they're more simple with the effects, but they're done more efficient because of that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but okay. Yeah, The Crazies. If you haven't seen this and you like George Romero, definitely check it out. Don't be turned off by what people say about it. It was actually really well done. Really well acted. Lynn Lowry's in it. You probably know her. The guy from Dawn of the Dead, who's like the political commentator with the eye patch, he plays a scientist. And Dr. Frankenstein plays the father of Lynn Lowry. Basically, if you know George Romero, he likes to comment on society, and this is obviously, if you watch it, you'll notice some comment against the Vietnam War, with it being released in 1973. The tagline for it was, "Why are all the good people dying?" And it's about a virus that gets released into a small town where people start acting violently. And it focuses on 2 ex-Vietnam veterans, their families, the military, and scientists. So, there you go. But it's really good if you don't want to pay attention to that anyways. Still a good movie. 13. Another really big favorite and my favorite werewolf movie, and that is An American Werewolf in London. This is the 2-disc Blue Moon edition. Not really much to say about this. Another black comedy, John Landis, obviously. When I watched this for another time this past Halloween, I never noticed how well done that subway scene was. So there you go. Just really cool. I like how it's about like backpackers and how it goes like from the countryside into London and whatnot. Cool transformation scene. When I went to a horror convention last October, I was really surprised. Like, everybody else, like, all the guests that were there, I, like, seen them in, like, present day, compared to, like, the movies that they were famous for in the past. But, David Naughton, yeah, I was kind of, I don't know, it was really a shock seeing him, since I hadn't seen him, what he looked like at all. I was like, oh my god, I'm old, even though I was never even around in the 80s. Whatnot. Okay, number 12, I know this is kind of going to go against what I said earlier about not liking slashers, but this is definitely probably my favorite slasher movie of all time, or like cheesy 80s slasher movie of all time. I like this 10 times better than Friday the 13th, still haven't seen The Burning. I even think the sequel to this is better than the first Friday the 13th, or all of them put together. But that is Sleepaway Camp. I bought this. I wasn't gonna buy it, obviously, because it's a slasher and from the 80s, but because I saw the Red Cross box set for $20 new at this DVD store that I go to, and I was like, gonna buy it. I don't care if the movies suck. And then I popped the movie in, and I was really hoping that it was gonna be good, and started out really eerie. Had some Italian kids in it, which I was really happy about, even though the main girl's Hispanic, but whatever. And it ended up being a really cool, like, out of all slasher movies I've ever seen, I think this is, like, the best character study. Not only with the killer, but with, the aunt, who's in it for, like, 2 seconds. Which was, like, the biggest part, I think, with this was that, there was, like, these characters who were in it for only a short amount of time, but, the things that they did within that time was, it said a lot about them as people and about the movie too. So there you go, Sleepaway Camp. Number 10, American Werewolf in London, my favorite werewolf movie of all time, and Fright Night, my favorite vampire movie of all time. I saw the remake before I saw this because, David Tennant's awesome. Yes, I was one of the original 2005 Doctor Who fans, whatever. Anyway, Fright Night, Ryan McDowell obviously did a phenomenal job. He always says he's adorable. Fuck it. Feeling like Ryan McDowell, you have issues. Chris Sarandon, obviously, did a way better job than Colin Farrell. No offense, Colin. But, more campy, more fun. Good time. Good movie to watch with your friends. Fright Night. Funny. I think it's kind of essential for a horror movie to have some humor to it. I know a lot of people don't like that nowadays because they don't have any patience, but I think it makes it more real. Because if you're scared, you're going to be funny, right? Whatever. Number 10, I said I don't like slashers, I said I don't like Dario Argento, but if you don't like Reanimator, honey, I feel bad for you. This movie is the funniest film I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen, like, out of all the comedies I've ever seen, this is a movie that I was, like, crying at this. Especially that, especially in that scene where they were, when he was first, bringing that guy back to life in the, I don't know what that is, the autopsy room? Not really, because it's their school, but you know what I'm talking about. And the guy was all, like, freaking out. I was, like, on the floor laughing. Herbert West, definitely one of the best horror, anti-heroes. I'm not going to call him an antagonist, but, because he is the main character. But, definitely the best, horror, anti-heroes there was. Interesting character. I love that cover art, too. I never really looked at this before, but that's pretty cool cover art. This is the 2-disc Anchor Bay edition. Nice set there.